to discuss this. Kaide is our guest.
Yeah. Our guest on the first guest platform of the SMT today is a veteran football analyst, Monday Shituala. You're welcome on the program.
Is that why you think I'm qualified? I don't know if I will not disappoint you.
No, you won't.
Okay.
And I'm sure our viewers also know that. I won't disappoint them.
Okay.
Yes. Welcome. It's the in thing now. Every country is talking about it. The media is talking about it. Well, what exactly? Where did it all start from?
The World Cup is the biggest event in the whole world. Maybe in terms of passion and things, Olympic Games is the biggest. But then Olympic Games hasn't got the joy, the everything, because football is the king of all sports. And so when the world is assembling youth of the world to play World Cup, and it comes once every 4 years. Yes, the Olympic Games comes in every for 4 years, but the World Cup has a fever. It has a fervor that everybody wants to be part of. Then it has what it takes. So it's not for nothing that everybody is talking about it. The media doesn't hype the Olympic Games the way it does to the World Cup, because there is anxiety, who will win, etc., etc., who will become the next champion of the world, etc., etc., which footballers are going to come out. So those are the things that make it big.
Now, this phenomenon called football, if you look at it, how you told us how it is now, but when did it start?
Okay, the World Cup.
Yes.
You want the story of how it started?
How it got to the level of world event.
Okay. It started in 1990. Sorry, 1930. That's 92 years ago. But I will keep that in suspense until before the World Cup started in 1930. Why am I saying 1990? Something must have happened. The Yorubas have a saying that Ki Agbado Todi Nkalajenja. The World Cup did not just start. It is a development that took some 34 to 40 years. Why am I saying so? I'm saying so because until the year 1896, when the Frenchman and football administrator Pierre de Coubertin reunited the world with the Olympic Games and called it the modern Olympic Games in Greece, 1896. Everywhere was dull. But when this Frenchman did that, it opened the eyes of so many people, other equally qualified men like him, to think of what could happen to football. And so in the year 1904, rather than the Olympic, a body was set up called FIFA. FIFA was created in the year 1904. And another Frenchman called, this time the pride of, he was a journalist. Yes, the Frenchman Robert Gray was a journalist. And he used to write for the French newspaper, Le Matin. He decided to look at what could be done, he and others. And so he became the chairman of, the president of FIFA. They formed FIFA in the year 1904. And he led it for 2 years before he died. He died in 1906. Then 1904, between 1904 and 1930, 26 years, so many things happened. There was Daniel Woolford, who took over the leadership of FIFA in 1906 and was there till the World War, 1918. He was an Englishman. he was a lawyer. He brought in the English laws into football. No, football started from England. After him, then the World Cup started building up. There was a French man who was called Jules Rimet. He took over the presidency of the FIFA for 33 years. Yes. He was the longest serving FIFA president. 33 years.
And why is that so? Was there no government?
I wouldn't say it, but when somebody you don't change a winning team. You don't. Yes, he was there for 33 years, and he was building up FIFA. FIFA's laws grew under him, and so they decided he was the one who moved the world into the World Cup. So you don't change somebody like that. And he kept on. He was doing fine. He was a Frenchman. Under him, FIFA's laws and decisions grew and expanded. And so the year 1930, the World Cup, he was the one who led the world into the World Cup. 1930. And how many teams played? 13. He managed to assemble 13 nations. 7 of them came from South America. 2 of them came from North America, incidentally Mexico and United States. Only 4 came from Europe, where football was really being played or started. Are you asking me if any came from Africa? Definitely not. Not in 1990. 1930, when we were under colonial rule, we had not even thought of, it was going to take us another 30 years for independence to be granted. So Africa was not there at all. Then the World Cup started. Let me try and remind, Argentina was there, Brazil was there, Uruguay was the host, Bolivia was there, Peru, Paraguay, Chile. There were the 7 teams from that zone, South America. From Europe came Romania, Yugoslavia, France, which is was the hometown or home country of the president. England was not even there. So 4 teams from there: Yugoslavia, Romania, Peru is from South America, and France. So they met. It took, in those days, it was boats. I mean, ships. There were no aircraft much. So the European teams moved from Europe down to Montevideo. That's the capital of Uruguay, and that's where the first ever World Cup was held.
So which country won?
Well, that's a good question, but in those days, football was still football. But all I'm trying to say is that the host country won. They won not because they cheated.
Okay.
They won because they qualified to win. Uruguay has always been a very good football nation. South America in general has been a zone that loves football, and they play it a lot. By the way, it was a South American final match, Uruguay versus Argentina. I'm playing at home. So that's why I said it wasn't as if they did any Mabinago. 13 football teams played, football nations played, Uruguay won, and won clean. So the next 4 years, so the next event was supposed to come up in Italy in 1934. It came up, and Italy beat Czechoslovakia. They were United Nations, United Nation then, Today we have them as Czech Republic and Slovakia. They beat them 2-1. In 1938, the Frenchman took the championship to his own country. I'm talking of Jules Rimet. And France hosted. No, they couldn't win.
Okay.
They couldn't win because they were not a very strong football team then. Today, France is a big football team, but then they were not very. When you talk about football playing nations, then in Europe, you talk of England, you talk of Germany, you talk of Hungary. In those days, there was a Hungarian footballer called Puskás. He was the contemporary of Pelé and things like that. They were great footballers in Europe then, but France was not known for that. So in 1938, France hosted and Italy defeated Hungary by 4-2.
So how many countries played then?
By that time, that reached 16.
Okay.
They have moved from 13 to 16. Yes. 16 teams were played. The 16 played for a long time because football was developing then. But the World War prevented a continuation of the championship. The World War took place between 1939 and 1945, what we call today the Hitler War. So it became a little bit difficult. Not that it was not going to be possible for anybody to say he was going to do World Cup. So for 2 seasons of 4 years each, there was no World Cup. 1950, there was a resumption. The war lasted for about 6 years, and World Cup years are 4 years. So they took their time and returned to basics in 1950, and Brazil hosted. Unfortunately, it met Uruguay, who had won it first. Uruguay defeated Brazil 2-1 in their hometown. So it has not all been mago. You come to terms with reality. So 1954, Switzerland hosted, and Switzerland has never been a very good football. By the way, FIFA's headquarters is in Switzerland. So would you also say that one was mago? Yeah, whatever it is, if Jules Rimet took it to his own country, he should be able to bring the World Cup back to his own office. So Switzerland hosted, and West Germany, then they were West Germany, was a divided nation. They beat Hungary by 3-2. That was in 1954. 1958, Sweden hosted, and Sweden, that was the year that brought the name Pelé out. It was his first outing, Brazil's first outing, not in the World Cup, but coming out after having been defeated in their own home soil 8 years earlier. Brazil came in 1958 to Sweden with a panache. They had become a football nation, and they beat Sweden, the host country, by 5-2. That was when the name Pelé started ringing the bell.
It meant they went back to the drawing board after the defeat and came out strong.
Yes. So they brought in this young 17-year-old then, and he became an instant star. And Pelé has remained a star even though he is 82 this year. So Brazil, Chile got the request to host, and Chile hosted. It has been on. Chile hosted, and Brazil still won. And the cup was named after the president. We call it the Jules Rimet Cup. It was to mark his own 25 years on the position as president, because he had contributed so much. So they named it after him. And come to think of it, 1966, England hosted, and they were all, everybody had come to understand that this Pele boy is a case. So they made sure that Brazil didn't qualify, go beyond quarterfinal. They gave him the best. I was a young boy, but I followed the game on newspapers, 1966. So Brazil, and at that time, Brazil said he was not going to play the World Cup again because they gave him machete for machete, cane for cane. But they came back, Brazil came back in 1970 when Mexico hosted to tell the world that they were real champions. They beat Mexico 4-1 and won that first cup called Jules Rimet Cup for keeps. So, you want me to go on?
It's really very interesting, and I'm sure viewers are enjoying
well, that was 1974. Okay, let me be quick. 1974, the championships went to Germany. It was still Western Germany then, Europe. That was the year the name Franz Beckenbauer came up. He was a German. Oh, he's still a German. He's not dead. Germany beat Holland 2-1. I want to testify that I listened to that commentary in 1974 live, the final match. It was between Gerd Müller and Johan Cruyff of Holland. Johan Cruyff later became the coach of Barcelona. Those were fantastic footballers at that time.
So how many countries participated then?
By that time it was 16 players.
Okay, still 16.
I think it moved into 24 during Sepp Blatter's or Joao Havelange years, and 32 in Sepp Blatter's years. So it moved from 13 to 16 teams, from 16 to 24, and from 24 to what we have today as 32. Italy hosted, Argentina hosted in 1978 and won. Not because, in fact, nobody gave them the Ducks chance, but they came to win that. They got to win that. They had a footballer whose name was Mario Kempes. He was playing number 10. He was the one Maradona eventually came to replace. So if you trace Argentine football, they have always had that number 10 jersey as their playmaker. When Maradona left the scene, took some time, this man called Messi came, and he's also wearing the number 10 jersey. So that has been, Italy won the championship. Argentina won in 1980, 1978. Italy won in 1982. Mexico, fantastic game. That is when Maradona came on the scene. He single-handedly won the championship for Argentina in the year 1986. It was in Mexico. He came on board, and there was a German footballer who was also called Karl Rummenigge. Argentina defeated West Germany by 3-2. So the World Cup has been on. 1990, Italy, Germany versus Argentina. He also defeated, and Maradona cried on television because they were almost winning. He lost to Germany by 1-2. Then came USA 94. That's when Nigeria, that's the time Nigeria first ever went into the World Cup.
I was going to ask when African countries started participating.
Yes, African countries started playing in 1978, and it was I think Morocco or Algeria. That's when I think it was Algeria. In fact, in that game, in that year, they defeated Germany. They defeated Germany in the World Cup match there. So they have been coming. Nigeria has been losing. Morocco also went. But when it was God's time for us in Nigeria, 1994 came, and we were able to qualify and be there. And we did well. And that was the time that the names like J.J. Okocha, Rashidi Yekine, Finidi George, etc., came. Yeah, Stephen Keshi. Yeah, Stephen Keshi was the captain, but he was fading out. In fact, he played only one of the matches. The weakest of the matches was what his coach made him to play against Greece, and we defeated Greece by 3-0. So that has been, but we must count his name because he was our captain, the team's captain. So from 1994, 1998, yes, 1998, France hosted, and they were hosting for the second time. This time, they won.
Yes.
They defeated Brazil, almighty Brazil, by 3-0. In fact, you could say that there was no fluke in it. They defeated them hands down. Ronaldo, the senior Ronaldo, who is from Brazil, was there. But France also had a playmaker in Zinedine Zidane. Oh, you watch those matches?
Yes.
Also, let's stop it.
No, you're not out of the,
Yeah, I know. Anybody your age must have watched it. Almost every Nigerian watched. Okay, where did we land? 1994, 1978. Yes, and the year 2002, we had a dismal performance in there. It was the first time the championship we hosted jointly. We call it Korea-Japan. That's the only time in the 92 years history that the competition will be hosted 2 times. I mean, by the joint. 1982. What did I say? 1902. Yes, 1902. We did very badly because we went a few months before the competition started. We lost our coach, Nigeria. We didn't lose him in person. There was an overhaul, and Coach Onibide was brought in. I took to the World Cup a group of very young footballers, very young. One of them was under 20. What was his name? He was playing for the Shooting Stars. And Captain J.J. Okocha led. We didn't do well there because it was a bunch of very young players. 2020, Brazil defeated Germany in that championship. 2006, Germany hosted Italy versus France, and the Italians won on penalties, 5-3. The year 2010, the first time the competition will host will be hosted in Africa. And which country was that? Not Nigeria, it was South Africa. Spain defeated Holland 1-0 in that final match. Then came 2014. Brazil hosted in the hope to win. But they had a very terrible team that time. Germany spanked them 7-1 in the semi-final. So Germany versus Argentina, Germany went home winners. That was in 2014. 2018, Russia. And I say Russia again, why? Because that's the team, that's the country that is attacking Ukraine. And that's creating war for the world. France became champions again for the second time, beating Croatia 4-2. So that has been the story of the World Cup. So we are now in Qatar 2022 begins. Who wins?
Yeah. All right.
But unfortunately, our dear country is not being represented.
Yes,
It's not going to be
actually come to
represented.
that.
All right.
Very
Now,
unfortunate.
Let's talk about the benefits. What has been the benefits of the World Cup so far?
Benefits. Game of sports is not essentially for money, but then there are benefits. For instance, every competing country out of the 32 will go home with $1.5 million. Every country, that is dollars. Now, go to Bureau de Change for Nigerians.
Exactly.
But the winning team will go home with $440 million.
440
Yes.
million
Yeah.
dollars.
A
Yes.
huge foreign exchange.
In dollars, they pay you in dollars.
Exactly. So why is Nigerian government not really doing enough? If there are so much benefits.
Apart from that, I mean, it develops you. Your boys these days we play women's soccer too. They meet people. They exchange ideas.
Yeah.
They do all these things that or do networking, etc. You can play football, Qatar today. Somebody will notice you and say, okay, in the next 5 years we are booking you for Australia. United States, etc. There are so many gains. Then if you are a host country, you spend more, but then it helps you develop your country. Look at Qatar now. It has provided, not that it is going to, it has provided 8 stadia in 5 different towns.
New one.
And some of them have 3 stadia because they have to build additional stadia. Some of them have 3 stadia, some have 2, others have one each. And this is the first time that the competition will hold in the Middle East and in Qatar. So maybe when we come to that, we'll be talking more.
Yes.
But then there is more to gain. There is no way, if we had the opportunity of when we hosted the Nations Cup, we saw developments. Stadia were built. Abuja came up. So many Lagos, Port Harcourt. You have infrastructural development, and then you create awareness, and in the process you are developing the game for your country. When we hosted the Junior World Cup, I mean the under 20 World Cup in 1999, early 1999, we built new stadium. Those old ones, we refurbished them. The one in Ibadan, the one in Kaduna, the one in Enugu. Try to spread development. So that has been the gain, some of the gains. And then your boys they have played at the apex of the game. They have confidence. You can't quantify them. You can't quantify all those things. You can't say they are little boys anymore. They are big football players who can be hired. And what's the name? The performance of J.J. Okocha he was already a professional player in Europe, but then it upped his ante, and so he became an international star.
Right. Let's look at the evolution of technology in the game of soccer. Now we have a lot of the video assistant property.
Yeah.
This is the way it started.
It's a recent development.
The stadium, the way it's being built now, the architectural design and all that. How did they start and what has been the latest so far?
If you want any latest, you go to Qatar. Well, that's where the latest event is holding. And I tell you, in 5 cities, they have given us 8 venues where the championships will hold. And so technology is an evolutionary thing. In 1978, when FIFA took the World Cup to Argentina, people thought then that Argentina was quote unquote a bush country. That is a third world country, not yet given to the glamour, etc. But every nation today, when you give them the right to host, they go for the best technology. As technology develops, if technology is the spirit of tomorrow, you go and watch the current event. Of course, the events are not given to you within 4 years. Qatar was given the the mandate about 12 years ago. So you are able to, many of them are not like Nigeria. When you give Nigeria time, we will wait, and when it is 2 years to go, we begin to do what we call fire brigade. But you are giving about 12 years to prepare. You should be able to go to the east, go to the west, look at their architecture, look at what you want best, factor your own native culture into it, and you get the best. Every country that hosts 4 years later, you see this is. Qatar will be a beauty to watch, to behold. Moscow was great, but I know Qatar should be greater. Germany was great. They were hosting in 2006. They were hosting it for the first time as a United Nation. You know, the Cold War had divided, and so there was West Germany, there was East Germany. But in 1990, they came together, and the story has been different. So technology keeps on improving and improving. If you go back to the year 1958, there was no, it wasn't colored. You watch Pele, you watch him, it's in black and white. But today, when Maradona scored his hand of goal, his hand of God goal in 1986, technology had developed and everybody saw it. The referee couldn't see it. We have to give it to him. It was, if they were, yes, we could see it. But he had blown the whistle and he was not going to change it. So that was it. He flew into the air, and when his head was not touching it, and footballers do that a lot.
So any footballer that does that now won't get away with
Oh yes, he won't. That's why even if you hold today, sometimes they have about 12 cameras. So if you do whatever you wanted to do, and we're not caught, one camera will catch it and bring the playback will be there for you to see. Okay. So the playback was there during Maradona's time, but you see, it wasn't. That's 1986. Is how many years? Some 30-something years. Technology had not developed. We saw him do it, but he had blown the whistle before the playback told us it was the hand. So the referee couldn't. But today, an assistant referee would have told you. In those days, there were only 3 referees. The center referee, the linesman. It is all these things that keep on making FIFA and other bodies develop. Like you must have an assistant referee, a match commission, etc., who will also be in the stand watching, and so can come up with some ideas.
Now, talking about the Nigeria now, do you see the possibility of Nigeria hosting the World Cup at the level of which Qatar wants to hold in the nearest future?
No, forget about nearest future. But it's a possibility. You see, Qatar is richer than Nigeria. It's a very tiny country. In fact, the stadium they have built, there's none of them you will travel 1 hour. Some 45 minutes. So Qatar is richer than Nigeria. But Nigeria could have been richer than Qatar. We are oil producing. So we should have done that. It is a smaller country. What's our population? Over 200 million mouths to feed. So we could have it on mind that we can get there, but it's not in my generation. Because it costs so much money. Perhaps it's not in your generation. Because you want to build. How much is Qatar spending? Between 200 to 300 billion dollars. Yes. Can we afford that in the next 10 years in this country? No. Even if we are able to afford it, no, we should not, because we must eat first. It is the living that celebrates.
Right. Now, talking about the living celebrating, yes, Nigeria is not participating in this year's World Cup. What are the likely effects on the economy of the country
Well, that's the people who have watched football, and football is a passion in this country. So the economy would have been when Nigeria wins, you can imagine how many people can buy beer for their friends. That's at the ordinary level. People will buy, say, okay, 5 of you, I'll give you pepper soup. It's all, what is it? The economy is being invigorated one way or the other. You will see Nigeria playing on that day, they win a match, Dangote can say, I'm spreading so much dollars on somebody. A giveaway. So, at that level, and then the best of them all is the human joy. We are a happy people when our teams win. And so if we are able to celebrate that, that is also enough. It brings us together. You see a Fulani man and you are happy to say, hey, Abuki, thank you, God, we have won. He also sees you as saying, Batiman, this, that. There's the camaraderie. You can't quantify that. But we have not qualified. We stupidly and carelessly knocked ourselves off. Nigeria would have been replaced. Ghana is replacing us.
Yes.
You see, there is a sense of entitlement when the World Cup comes. Out of 5 countries that FIFA has given Africa, we have a sense of entitlement because we have a population of over 200 million. And we are the largest economy. So sometimes we feel we must be there, Nigeria must be there. And when we are there, we perform. In 1994, we won the Fair Play Cup. We are a football playing nation. Beautiful soccer, you see it. And the Europeans and the other land see it, and the Nigeria, Rashidi Yekini, etc., etc. They pick the names of our boys and begin to chant them. And that's why I say we stupidly and carelessly lost the opportunity. But if you look at it way back, and as to the game that was played 2 or 3 days ago, it is better we didn't go. Because this is not a team we have. It would have gone for this break. Don't tell me because we are not. If we had gone, it's these same players will come back home very quickly. And we would have been a disgrace to our nation. This is not the Super Eagles that must play in the World Cup. Let us forget about sentiments. This is not the team that must play in the World Cup.
What happened? How did you get to this stage?
Oh, so many things. You rent the services of coaches, you won't pay them. There's corruption in everywhere. From the ministry, from the NFA. Look, one of our people is indicted in this Qatar 12 years ago when he hosted. He took bribe. Some people took bribe and gave it to their country. What's his name? The former French. No, the former French captain. He was also sent packing alongside. He was president of European football. I will remember the name as we go. He gave conditions which will help his country. In Nigeria, when they take it, they put it in their pockets. There was a footballer. I've forgotten his name. European. He was always playing in number 10. Platini.
Okay.
Yes, Platini. He was involved in this scandal, but as a national, you won't blame him because he brought a thing to his country. Our own representative pocketed the money. That's
all right. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wo díẹ̀ ní Yorùbá torí àkókò wa àwọn olóde ìgbóná méjì. Eré ìdárayá bọ́ọ̀lù aláfẹsẹ̀gbá yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní kàtà dọ́là. Bọ́ọ̀lù gan kó tẹ̀ tó di kó dé lẹ́kùn tó dé kó tó di kó débi tó dé lónìí kó ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ gan.
Ẹ ṣe torí pé àkókò sí mọ́ àṣìṣàn yóò ní òyìnbó a ní padà sí gbogbo bẹ̀yẹn torí ó lè má yé àwọn tá a fẹ́ kó yé. 1990 ni mo tún dé 1930 90 mo gbọ́dọ̀ wá nǹkan ṣe sílẹ̀ 1930 ni eré ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n kó tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn iṣẹ́ kan ti lọ wọ́n dá FIFA lẹ̀ ní 1904 ìyẹn ló ṣe sábàbí pé wọ́n gba World Cup kó tó dá FIFA lẹ̀ àti kọ́kọ́ dá Olympic Games lẹ̀ ní 1896 arákùnrin kan ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n ni ní Faransé ilẹ̀ Faransé wọ́n pè ní Pierre de Coubertin òun ló ṣe agbátẹrù pé Olympic Games àtúnṣe Olympic Games wà tipẹ́ àwọn ó ti kú àwọn Greece ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ́n á dá padà sí Greece ní 1896 Olympic Games tá à máa ṣe àti 1896 ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn tó gbádùn eré bọ́ọ̀lù àwọn náà lè ṣe nǹkan báyìí wọ́n á dá FIFA lẹ̀ 1906 ibẹ̀ bí wọ́n ti dálẹ̀ wọ́n ń bọ̀ díẹ̀ nígbà wọn á rí arákùnrin kan tí orúkọ rẹ̀ jẹ́ Jules Rimet òun náà Faransé ló ti wá ìmọ̀ pé àwọn Faransé wọn láìkí nǹkan tó bá dà òun wọn fi ṣe super president ní 1921 wọ́n á wà bẹ́ẹ̀ títí di 1954 ọdún mẹ́tàlélọ́gbọ̀n ló lò gẹ́gẹ́ bí olórí tó ní àǹfààní láti ṣe iṣẹ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ olúwa kó àdéhùn agbábọ́ọ̀lù World Cup ọdún mẹ́rin la fi gbà eré àkọ́kọ́ tí wọ́n kọ́kọ́ àkọ́jẹ́ ìwé wọn orílẹ̀-èdè Uruguay ni wọ́n ti ṣe ètò ní 1934 àgbélọ sí Italy àti bábọ̀ bámbámbámbámbám ọdún 1994 ní orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà a ní àǹfààní àti kópa wọ́n máa ń nà wá ní 1978 ó yẹ ká ní àwọn pẹ̀lú Algeria àti gbá wá wà náà wọ́n kàn débi ká nà wọ́n ni wọ́n tún á nà wá wọn lé so àìlè lọ so àìlè lọ ni ṣùgbọ́n a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lọ ká pé a ní àǹfààní àti lọ ní ilé ìbàjẹ́ ẹlẹ́ẹ̀keje wa tá lọ kó sàǹfààní ẹ̀ torí pé àwọn ọmọ àpá wọn ò ṣe dáadáa tó a lọ sí Ghana a lọ bá Ọ̀ọ̀ni 0-0 wọ́n wá sílẹ̀ pé ẹ̀ka nà wọ́n wá kọ́kọ́ nà wá àwa struggle láti dá padà àwa dá padà wá di 1-1 ṣùgbọ́n a ní nǹkan kan tá à ń pè ní ewégo tó bá bọ́ sí ìlú ẹnìkan tó gba àmì tó kọ́sà sáà tìrókò kọ sọ̀kan sínú àwọn ìwọlọ́ máa lọ so n tó já wa nìyẹn.
ẹ ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ Nàìjíríà ò ní àǹfààní láti
aṣọ àǹfààní ẹ̀ lónìí.
kí ni àwọn nǹkan tí a ti pàdánù pẹ̀lú àǹfààní ọ̀la?
ọ̀pọ̀ ìkíní náà owó tó yẹ kí FIFA fún wa $1.5 million.
wípé àti ẹ̀kópa. tá
a bá ṣe owó yẹn sí bí dọ́là ṣe ń bó ṣe wọ́n tó yìí àbí bó ṣe dá òkè tó yìí ṣe máa kówó ni àwọn máa wá wọ́n lọ gbá bọ́ọ̀lù ẹ mọ̀ pé yes ẹgbẹ́ ni wá tó máa bá mọ̀ Ronaldo gbá ẹgbẹ́ ní ìnà tẹ́ ẹ bá ṣe gbẹ́ ẹ̀ ní òní ní àǹfààní àti gbà Messi gbogbo ìgbà tá a ti lọ sí World Cup bí ẹ̀ẹ̀mẹ́ta la bá wọn Argentina gbà wọ́n nà wá o ṣùgbọ́n àwọn náà mọ̀ pé kó tó nà wá ikùn ọ̀tún ọ̀nbọ́sọ láyé Maradona àwọn alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ mi àwọn so àwọn nǹkan báyẹn ẹ máa jẹ́ ìwúrí fún wa then ọmọ Nàìjíríà ṣe mọ̀ pé aláìkí eré ìdárayá kí n dé báyìí kí n Olùchí àmọ́ àti wíìlì ni o gbogbo yín tẹ́ jókòó síbẹ̀ Fanta tàbí kóòkù everybody ọmọ mú mo ń náwó nìyẹn
ọlọ́jà ò sì ta.
ọlọ́jọ́ ta economy ó sórí ó tún wá jẹ́ pé àwọn bí àwọn ọ̀tẹ́dọ́là nǹkan kan Dangote wọn náà lè wo sùnsùnsùn àfún àwọn báyìí ní iye báyìí àfún àwọn ọmọ ní nǹkan owó náà ni ó ń bọ̀ wá sí Nàìjíríà ní ọjà pàtàkì ó ṣe ní láàánú ṣùgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí èmi o ẹnìkan o team tí Nàìjíríà present lẹ́nu àìpẹ́ yìí náà kò tí ì pé oṣù mẹ́fà tí wọ́n náà wà so team yẹn náà là ń wò yẹn team yìí kò ṣe team tó lè gbà wẹ́kọ̀ ẹja console ara wa pẹ̀lú yẹn pé ó tiẹ̀ wá dáa pé a lè lọ àpàdánù ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n torí pé tí ó bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tá a bá mú team yìí lọ sí Qatar àlùbami ni wọ́n máa nà wá bí mi ṣe rí sí ni ẹ̀ coach wa náà kò ṣe coach tó làkàlàkà àgà ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ ní yọ́bọ̀yọ̀bọ̀ yàbáyàbá ní ó ṣe ní láàánú pé kíní ẹ̀ ń pẹ́ jù ó ti yẹ ká rìn jìnnà bí bá ń ṣe rìn ṣùgbọ́n eré ìdárayá kò different ní Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú bá ń ṣe ń ṣe politics wa a lọ àtúfara wa sẹ́yìn 5 steps in front 3 back so you come back to the one bó ṣe Ọlọ́run àtún orílẹ̀-èdè wa ṣe Ọlọ́run àtún ṣe ní àdúrà nìkan la lè gbà.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí èrò tìmí ǹjẹ́ ẹ rò pé Nàìjíríà ṣì lè ní àǹfààní láti gbàlejò
ẹja gbàgbé yẹn kò ṣe nísìnyí bóyá 25 years 30 years yes kò lè sójú tèmi kò ṣe pé kí la fẹ́ ná owó ńlá ni èèyàn máa ná síbẹ̀ yẹn àwa tá a gbé placard àápọ̀ ẹ̀yin ọmọ kéékèèké tẹ́ wà lẹ́yìn wa ẹ̀yin lẹ gbọ́dọ̀ gbé wọ́n fẹ́ bọ ọjọ́ iwájú yín jẹ́ nìyẹn tẹ́nìkan bá ronú pé òun fẹ́ ṣe World Cup ní the next 5-10 years ẹ̀kún lẹ̀ lóko ni kí nìdí kò sí pé àfẹ́ a lè jẹun ààrùn jẹ fún àwọn ọmọ àwọn náà ò lè jẹun àwọn ọmọ òníṣẹ́ wọ́n ń jápá lọ ni wà lè fẹ́ ṣe owó lè fẹ́ náà Qatar ẹ máa yẹ tó ń ná between 200 and 300 billion naira wọn ṣé wàá níyẹn wàá ní tún lè ṣẹ́ ṣe káwọn èèyàn máa ṣiṣẹ́ oko lè fẹ́ dání o ní tí wọ́n máa pawó ẹ wà náà yẹn ìnákùná ni ẹ ẹn tó bá kúrò yẹn ń sìn kí wọ́n sọ lóko ni kò nífẹ̀ẹ́ orílẹ̀-èdè ni ẹ ẹja tún lu àṣetán ká tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ máa wá ronú nǹkan yẹn torí tó bá kó 300 billion naira tó ní ẹ máa yẹ iléeṣẹ́ tí ó dálẹ̀ ẹ máa yẹ èèyàn tí ó máa ṣiṣẹ́ tá a bá ṣiṣẹ́ tá a róúnjẹ jẹ tá à ń ṣiṣẹ́ la tó lè ṣe fàájì nìyẹn fàájì nìyẹn ní lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ tá a wà yìí o.
ẹ jẹ́ ìgbẹ́ ìbéèrè rẹ̀ sí láti ìgbà tí bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbá bọ́ọ̀lù àfẹsẹ̀gbá ìgbàlódé a rí i pé àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tí wọ́n wá fẹ́ máa ń gbà ó pọ̀ ó ń jẹ́ kí àlàáfíà máa wà kí ló wá dé tí a tún fi wá ń rí ogun láàárín àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè kẹ̀kẹ́ bí ó ti wà pẹ̀lú Russia àti Ukraine táwọn orílẹ̀-èdè mílẹ̀ tó ti gbà sórí.
ó sì ní láàánú pé Ukraine wọn ò ní àǹfààní àti ti wá sí Qatar ìtorí wọ́n fẹ́ débẹ̀ Wales lọ́nà wọn ní final match ìjà ò lè ṣe ọmọ ṣẹlẹ̀ wọ́n nínú ìbọn politics has no permanent friends has permanent interest ìjà tí Ukraine àti Russia ń jà yìí kò sì ìjà alára ni ìjà pé mo jù ẹ́ lọ mo jù mí lọ ìjà pé bí mo ń ṣe fẹ́ ní ìwọ ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ìjà pé ìwọ lọ tábẹ́ bọ Amẹ́ríkà àbí Europe gbogbo ẹ̀ ló so mọ́ so kò sì jà bẹ́ẹ̀ eré ìdárayá kò lè sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn torí ẹ ṣe ọdún mẹ́rin sìn ẹ ti gbàgbé ẹ ti máa ṣe nǹkan mìíràn lọ ni tó bá kú jẹ̀dẹ̀ díẹ̀ ẹ wà mọ́. No, politics is what they are playing there. Ẹ má yẹ iléeṣẹ́ tí ó dálẹ̀ ẹ má yẹ èèyàn tí wọ́n máa ṣiṣẹ́ tá a bá ṣiṣẹ́ tá a róúnjẹ jẹ tá à ń ṣiṣẹ́ owó lẹ fẹ́ ná owó lẹ fẹ́ ná Cold War is what they are playing there. Interest wọn ni kò ṣe interest yìí Nàìjíríà nìkan láti máa ń bá gbọ́ interest oní interest á gbà kankan Amẹ́ríkà ò lè àmàrí ìbá àwọn gan lọ́yẹ kí wọ́n máa pòwe pé àmàrí ìbá kù àwa Nàìjíríà làwọn ń pòwe yẹn Amẹ́ríkà Europe Britain àmàrí ìbá kù ni wọ́n kò sí tọ́kàn wọn títí wọn kí wọ́n ṣe kọ́ dára bàtà wa la máa ṣe ó ti mọ́ wa la ìyá ẹ̀ sì ń jẹ wá díẹ̀díẹ̀ lábẹ́nu.
ó dà kó tó di pé a máa kásẹ̀ lẹ́dẹ̀ kí ni ìmọ̀ràn yín tẹ̀lé fún àwọn tí ń ṣagbátẹrù eré ìdárayá aláfẹsẹ̀gbá lórílẹ̀‐èdè láti jẹ́ káwa náà ti ẹ̀ pé.
ìmọ̀ràn n ò ní gbọ́ nítorí pé ọ̀nà ìlàbẹ̀ ọbẹ̀ lílá ni wọ́n máa ń wò wọ́n ń mú pé a fẹ́ sin ìlú torí pé àwọn olóṣèlú wa náà ìlàbẹ̀ ni wọ́n máa lọ fẹ́ lọ jẹ wọn ò mú lọ́kùnkúndùn pé àwọn fẹ́ sin ìlú ká forúkọ bọ́lásìrí ẹni tó gba bribe ní ọdún 12 sẹ́yìn gbogbo aláàmọ́ mi ní ìlà tuntun máa dárúkọ ẹ̀ mọ́ àpótí ẹ̀ lọ́gbà ọmọ Nàìjíríà ni ibi tó ọmọ Faransé ti gba bribe tó gbé fún tó pé nǹkan báyìí ni wàá ṣe sílùú lórílẹ̀‐èdè wa nǹkan báyìí ni wàá ṣe òun gba tiẹ̀ ọ̀ dà sápò tiẹ̀ ó ti ní láàánú ẹni tí mo mọ̀ one on one ni torí ńgbà tí mò ń ṣe sports editor à ń pàdé 20 something years ago à ń pàdé ó ṣe ní láàánú ṣùgbọ́n tí a bá mú corruption kúrò ń bẹ̀ tó wá jẹ́ pé mo fẹ́ lọ serve torí pé ẹni tí mo máa rí ń bẹ̀ tí ó bá ti kúrò nù ẹ̀ a lè bọ́ nù ẹ̀ torí ẹni tó ń bọ̀ ń sìn ìlú náà tó fẹ́ ṣe nìyẹn o Káyọ̀dé wà ń bẹ̀ ní jọ́kẹ́ lẹ́sìn àìrí tó lé tó kọ́ ni mi wà á lọ síbẹ̀ bí wọ́n wà ní kọ́lé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ kún kọ́lé ju ètò nǹkan lọ nítorí ń pa wá kú lọ nìyẹn tí ìyẹn bá kúrò ń bẹ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè wa dára eré ìdárayá yóò dáa hospital wa yóò dáa electricity wa yóò dáa bàtà àbá ti mú corruption kúrò à ń yín àgbàdo sẹ́yìn gbani.
Thank you so much, Mr. Smoleshifran. Thank you so much, and I hope you have really enjoyed today's segment of our first guest segment of the Saturday Morning Trade, because I have learned a lot, especially about the history of the World Cup and how far it has come, how far it has evolved. Thank you once again, sir, for making it to the program.
Bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé F1 TV ẹ má ṣe báyìí láàárọ̀ kùtùkùtù àti kúrò nílé ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀kùn àní kì bá jẹ́ ògì ló ṣogbó àsọ̀fẹ́ sọ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Smoleshifran, for coming on the program today. I hope our viewers at home have really enjoyed your analysis of the events, the emergence and the development of the World Cup. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much. Which team do you think can win?
I'm not predicting. I'm not very good at predicting. So I just want to enjoy the matches.
But your sports editors should be able to predict. But I'm tipping 4 countries.
Okay.
And I want it to be on record. Argentina, Belgium, Brazil, and which team did I wrote it somewhere. France.
Okay.
No. Yes, Argentina, Brazil, Belgium. France is not a very strong team now.
Okay.
But those 3 can easily.
And none from Africa.
No. Africa cannot win. Well, you see, I would have added Senegal.
Okay.
I would have added Senegal for bias sake as an African. That's the only country in Africa that can move closer. But with their star player wounded, I don't see them being able to get that far. If Mane was himself, Sadio Mane was himself, and if Egypt had qualified and Mo Salah was there, those are people who are in the mode of the Ronaldos of this world. They must give them the chance, they can fight. and win. But when you don't have them, you don't have them.
All
So that's it.
Okay.
Brazil, Argentina. Argentina because I want Messi to rewrite history.
Okay.
Yes, I mean he has never won the World Cup, and this is the 5th time he's going. So God should bless him, let him go and retire with the World Cup.
Yes, we like prayers.
Yes.
God should reward him. Yes. We are drawing the curtains on this segment of the Saturday morning trip. Please don't go away. SMT continues in a moment.
Prevails our land where there's hope for us all. Our land where there's hope for us all. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation, and we know we'll get there. We'll defend our land. We believe in Nigeria and the promise she holds, and that one day we'll shine like the sun. We're a great nation. Though we are many people, different tribes, different tongues, we're united in our strength and resolve to uphold the honor of our land and for generations to come, and for generations to come. We'll defend our land. We believe in this nation,